Hello, hello, and welcome to True Faith's Full-Time Whistle with me, Adam. It's finished. Newcastle United 2, Southampton 1. What a turnaround, and what another late show we've had to enjoy once again at St James's Park. We thought it was never going to come, but I mean, we saw it was a real Jekyll and Hyde performance, but it's a performance nevertheless that takes us up to 10th in the league, 2 points off Man United in 5th, and 7 points clear of Southampton, who now drop down to 18th in the relegation zone. It was, like as I said, a tale of two halves. The first half was very reminiscent of that Aston Villa performance. It was turgid. There was no determination. There was no impetus. Another over-reliance on Martin Dubravka having to pull out top draw saves once again. What a week he's had, by the way. Last 3 games, 7 points, and he's had a hand in all of those, it's fair to say. Southampton dominated early on. We didn't look interested. We didn't seem that. I think we had maybe 1-2 attacks in the first half that maybe looked anything remotely like a cohesive attacking unit in terms of a threat. It was Southampton that kept bullying us. They kept being canny with the referee and buying a lot of fouls. They had a lot of corners. There was a lot of threat there, and it was from, you know, it was kind of they were trying to counter-attack us, we were trying to counter-attack them. It was a real sort of game of chess. The first time they got clear, Redmond nicked a toe in ahead of the defender, I think it was Fernandez, and he had a one-on-one with Dubravka. He's trying to just sort of place it through his legs, and Dubravka somehow got a heel onto it, and the ball's looped up over. I mean, that's the first big chance of the game. What Opta would say a big chance, clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity. And Dubravka gets us out of trouble again. From the resulting corner, Ward-Prowse, whose delivery was a threat all day, regardless of what kind of game he might be having otherwise, from a set-piece situation, just so dangerous all the time, can whip them in brilliantly. He did so again after the corner, and it came out to Redmond, who had a sort of shot through a crowd. Willems sort of tried to throw his body in the way, and Dubravka got a strong double palm to it. And these were the warning signs that we had, that Southampton had pace. You know, the fact they've got Redmond and Shane Long as well. These are players where they can do all the, you know, the chasing down and do all the donkey work to sort of leave Ings, you know, relatively fresh for doing what he does best and trying to finish one-on-ones. We went into the game in the half-time 0-0, and it was a change at the half-time with Fabian Schär coming on for Clark. Now, I don't know if that was an injury. I haven't had a chance to look. I've just come back from the game, as you can probably tell by my voice. I don't know if Schär's got a shout, but he's a long ball up from Cedric. Schär's just should have headed it, completely left it. It's a massive error. Fernandez trying to keep up with Danny Ings, who slots it past Dubravka. It's an error. Schär hasn't been in the team for a while, out through injury. But I must say, and it was a good finish, and it was a mistake by Schär. But I must say there was a foul throw by Cedric leading up to that goal, and he was allowed to get away with it. He was allowed to get away with a second foul throw shortly after as well. It's almost as if, I mean, you know, I might feel like I'm nitpicking, but stuff like this, if they lead to goals, that's quite serious. Like, that needs to be pulled up. And I felt the referee and the officiating was weak today. I think, you know, I think there should have been a red card in the first half on Almiron. It was a studs up on his shin. We've seen red cards given for that. Sacco for Crystal Palace walked very similarly just days ago, didn't he? And I just felt the referee. I felt the referee was a naive, and I think Southampton were able to buy a lot of free kicks, and he was very willing to give them. And he booked Jonjo Shelvey for next to nothing. You know, he booked him because he's Jonjo Shelvey. So let's get on to Jonjo Shelvey. So Southampton are 1-0 up, and we're not looking like we're any sort of attacking threat. Joelinton comes off. I thought it was a poor display by Joelinton. It's just determination. He's got no fight. He needs, if things aren't going his way and he's playing in a role that doesn't suit him, he's not used to, that part isn't his fault. But what he can do is that he can chase down, and he can show willing, he can show a bit of energy, he can show the crowd that he cares. And at the minute, I don't know if he's sapped of confidence, and that's clearly an issue that's, you know, affecting his mentality, but he needs to show people that he cares, that he's fighting for the shirt, and he's not doing that. When Andy Carroll came on for him, obviously it's a different situation. This is Carroll's club, and the kind of player, I mean, Andy Carroll can play target man. Joelinton is proving that he can't, but then I don't think that's his fault. He probably shouldn't have been recruited if he was going to be a straight replacement for Rondon leaving. But Andy Carroll came on, and what an impact. I mean, he was winning every header. He was tackling. Obviously, he was doing amazing things in our box, trying to defend in the final sort of 10 minutes as well. He was everywhere. But he showed this determination to battle. And if he's not going to win a ball, he's going to make it very, very difficult for the defenders. He's not going to give the defenders an easy ride, which is what Joelinton did all game. But we had a free kick, basically won by Almiron's pace. I mean, Almiron was everywhere. His work rate, his ethic was stunning today. Really, really impressed with him. He nicked it ahead of Cedric, who kicked him in the head. The yellow card was the right decision there, I thought. Shelvey is definitely looking for Carroll at the back post. Defender clears it out. Shelvey continues his run, just gets himself into the box. Andy Carroll, you think he's going to lay it off to the right back? Nah. Whips it in. One of the best crosses I've seen all season from us. And Shelvey's there at the back post, and it's just landed perfectly on his head, and he just has to steer it. The keeper can't move. He doesn't move. There's nothing he can do. Like, what a response. And I just love the fact that it was total role reversal from Carroll whipping it in for Shelvey's head. It was brilliant. And obviously the pair combined on Thursday night as well, so they were having some good crack on the celebration. But you know, there's a real understanding there, and that's important. That's really, really important. And Shelvey, you know, the most attacking third passes today. He created the most chances as well out of our whole team. He got 4 chances created, and everyone else had 1. This is like Almiron, Saint-Maximin, all 1. Attacking third passes the most in the Newcastle team, and he's another goal, 5th goal of the season. He's captain with Lascelles being out, and he's said it before, but he's stepping up, and you could see that. And even when he got his yellow card, and you thought, he didn't let that bother him. He remained disciplined, and he dictated more of the game. Like, we had 45% possession by the end of this game, and that's a big difference from what we're used to. And like I said, the second half, it was just, we were a lot more canny, a lot more intelligent, and there was just a lot more drive from the team, you know. There was people with bodies being thrown on the line, like Dummett got a bloody nose, throwing himself in. Shea almost got knocked out. Like, Fernandez was throwing his body in the way as well. Like, we were fighting. We were really, really fighting. And that was what I'd say. You know, this whole game epitomised Bruce's Newcastle United. The first half was Villa, turgid, nothing happened, an over-reliance on Dubravka. The second half, we're fighting for everything. We had more attacking impetus, and our defensive shape was a lot stronger as well. And that's really, really key, especially when we've come away here with we've had a couple of injuries, and you know, it's gonna kind of cost us, I think, further, you know, over this Christmas period. Saint-Maximin's now going to be out till the new year. We're going to have to find a way to deal with that. But you felt, once Carroll came on and once that goal had gone in, that you know, there was a roar from the crowd again. It was like a furnace that was getting more fuel and it was getting hotter and hotter, and it was suddenly a bit too hot to handle for Southampton. Now, again, it was more build-up play. We fed it in to Sean Longstaff, who came on for Almiron. I thought Shea, as a side point, I thought Shea, although his mistake, I thought he made a difference as well. I'm glad to see him back in the side, because if nothing's happening, he can kind of bring it. He's comfortable bringing it out through the lines, pushing it out into mid, like, you know, running through the lines with the ball, dribbling through, and opening things up a bit. Like, he's not afraid to do that. Fernandez has been doing that the last couple of games, and he's gone on like little solo runs. But Shea's the one who can make a tactical difference when he comes on as a defender, and I think it's really good to see him back, despite the error. But we kept pushing, we kept knocking on the door. Longstaff came on, and you think, well, right, okay, so we're kind of, and Saint-Maximin was kind of pushed further forward alongside Carroll. It was almost like a 5-3-2, I think, by the end. And Longstaff came on, the ball came to the edge of the box, and of course he's got such a sweet strike. Everyone's saying shoot. He obliges, and just a really, really sweet shot that's can only be parried out by the keeper. And Fernandez, he's on such good form, Federico Fernandez, the last sort of few games, and he's rifled it into the roof of the net. 87 minutes. I must admit, my celebrations were ruined slightly by the threat of VAR. I sort of celebrated and was like, oh, is it going to be checked? And then obviously it was, and the moment's gone, and that's where VAR can be pretty shit, to be honest. But you know, in terms of like Federico Fernandez's performance today, you know, there's a couple of names that keep popping up. There's him and Willems. Most clearances today, most headed clearances, the pair of them. Andy Carroll up there as well. You know, this was like, we're seeing good performances at both ends of the pitch there. And like I say, it was only the second half that we finally came alive. And it shouldn't have to be that Andy Carroll sub appearances is the only thing that can kind of lift us and give us attacking impetus. We need more. We need more from the start. And we're not getting that with Joe Linton. Whether Carroll is going to be fit enough to start every game, I highly, highly doubt. My shout is that we sell Gale in January. He's touted £50 million. We use that money and some other money to get in another target man who we can use, who can fight for a starting place, because I don't think Carroll's going to be able to do that. But Carroll's, as an impact sub, could be absolutely crucial to us this season. We ended up with more shots on target than Southampton. I think the moral of the game was that, you know, while they were on top in the first half, they didn't have the cutting edge, the clinical finishes to finish us off as a team, and they could have done that by half time. You know, if they'd scored 1-2 in that first half, we're not recovering from that. No chance. But they couldn't put the game to bed, and I think that's why they're down where they are. Danny Ings is a really canny operator, good finisher, but he's personally going to need a lot more help from them, because they just didn't, their heads dropped and we rattled them. I think we made them look a lot better than they were in that first half. We weren't very good at all. But second half, this is Brucey ball. This is Newcastle United under Steve Bruce. It's another win. It's 22 points top half and 7 points clear of the relegation zone, as I stated before. By the time it is like mid-December, sort of early mid-December, I don't think anyone could have imagined that. But I'm not going to get excited yet, because there's just always this hanging threat that we could just not turn up, and now we're going to have to deal with Saint-Maximin absence, and that we're going to have to shuffle things around again. I've been Adam of True Faith's Full Time Whistle, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.